Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai. Assessing the federal government's fight against corruption, the role of the judiciary in it, with reference to the jail time, bail conditions and recognitions, the release of former pension boss Abdul Rashid Maina, the Melabo scandal, and the effort of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, the delay in the implementation of the FG's legacy project. All this will be discussed today on the episode of Spectacle on Television Nigerian. So welcome. I am Daniel Atai. We will take a short break, after which my legal practitioners in the studio will do justices to them all. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. With me in the studio is Abdullahi Awal Mohammed, Esquire, a legal practitioner. Mr. Abdul, welcome to Spectacle.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You are usually known as A.A. Mohammed.
Yes.
It's okay. And my second guest in the studio is Jen Francis, also a legal practitioner. Mr. Jen, you're welcome to Spectacle.
Thank you very much, sir. It's not actually Jen, but it's Gen.
Gen. Okay, it looks like general.
Gen.
It's okay. And like I said, we will start with that Minas release. The former pension boss was released yesterday from the Kuje prison. And then we want to assess the fight, the FG's fight against corruption in the country, and with the preamble I just delivered to you. And straight ahead, before we go into that, A.A. Esquire, how would you assess the FG's fight generally against corruption with reference to the judicial interference?
Yeah, thank you, presenter and listeners at home. Actually, for me, from my perspective, the FG has tried. They have tried to be downslay, because what we are getting now, we never emphasize it. Though some people might be thinking in the same government, people are fighting themselves in the same government. I am thinking it is a good omen for this country if the same government were fighting themselves. This simply shows that anytime another government comes, the syndrome of covering up definitely will never be risen again. With this, it has started that anywhere they notice that there are misappropriation of fund from all angles. What initially we do not believe can happen in this country has happened, because the people with the government, meaning the people with the presidency, they've been asked questions. For example, this issue of Magu, nobody ever emphasized it. that Magu will ever be asked question with respect to what he has done with his office. A very good development. The federal government, I will tell them congratulations because they are doing what Nigerians, and as he promised that he's going to try to fight corruption. To my understanding, Baba is fighting corruption.
Good. Thank you for that wonderful take. Mr. Gen,
Yes.
I see you rotating your chair.
Very well, sir.
It's okay.
Thank you.
How would you also assess the fight so far against corruption by the FG? Is it a kind of implicative or not?
Yes, I think. Thank you very much for the question. Yes, I think what the federal government is doing in this respect is what actually we need from our leaders. I somewhat give credit to the fight against corruption being carried out by Mr. President. No one ever believed that this kind of fight will ever take place in Nigeria, and I think this is a way forward for Nigeria. Nobody even thought of like the issue of CJN. Nobody even thought of that happening in Nigeria. And even the case of Magu, which my learned senior has just mentioned. So I think it's right way in the right direction.
Good.
Thank you.
We will take a look at the release of Minor and how he met the bail conditions and whether your assertion in the fight against corruption is correct and objective from the angle of the judiciary. We will be taking that short clip of the video and the reportage on the release of Abdul Rashid Maina, the former pension boss from Kuje prison yesterday. Please enjoy it. Malabo scandal, Netherlands, Switzerland to send $200 million to Nigeria. Nigeria's Minister of Justice, Justice Abubakar Malami, says that the Dutch and Swiss governments are expected to send the sum of $200 million from the OPL 245 Malabo oil deal to Nigeria. The minister announced this in Abuja during an interactive session on capacity with members of the judiciary in Abuja on Tuesday. The minister said the recovered loot was paid into federal government treasuries for the development of critical infrastructure in the nation, like the second Niger Bridge and the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. He also added that the whistleblower program has recovered over 685 million naira in the past year, while forfeited vessels and trucks recovered 500 million naira for the government within the same period. Multinational oil companies Eni and Shell paid $1.3 billion in 2011 to acquire OPL 245 offshore field. The payment was to a company called Malabo, which was owned by Nigeria's former oil minister Dan Etete. However, Italian prosecutors claimed that most of the payments were kickbacks to Nigerian government officials. Italian prosecutors also claimed that nearly $1.1 billion was stolen by Nigerian politicians and middlemen, with Dan Etete keeping half. Italian court said the oil companies paid the money knowing most of it would go as kickbacks. Prosecutors have therefore called for an 8-year prison sentence for former Eni CEO Paolo Scaroni. Both companies have been fined $1.04 million, and prosecutors seek the confiscation of $1.092 billion from the defendants of the case. Ex-pension boss Maina released from Kuje prison. Abdulrashid Maina, ex-chairman Pension Reformed Tax Team (PRTT), has been released from Kuje Correctional Center 9 months after his detention, the news agency of Nigeria NANS has confirmed. Maina, who was arraigned before Justice Okon Abang of the Federal High Court, Abuja, on October 25, 2019 by the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, alongside his son, Faisal, and FEM, Common Impute Property and Investment Limited, had been in detention since the period. Maina's lawyer, Adeola Adedipe, in a telephone interview with a NAN on Tuesday, said the ex-PRTT boss was finally released on Monday evening after completing the necessary documents for his freedom. NAN reports that the ex-pension reform boss, through his lawyer, Joe Gadzama, senior advocate of Nigeria, had on June 23rd informed the court that Senator Ali Ndume, representing Borno South, had decided to stand as surety for him. Ndume, who is the chairman Senate Committee on Army, had in a statement on June 24th had also admitted standing as surety for Maina. He revealed that it took him 6 months of painful consideration to agree to be a surety for the ex-pension boss, and that it was part of the cross he had to carry as Maina's elected senator. According to the lawmaker, it was a hard decision I had to make because I have a duty to represent the good, the bad, and the ugly of Borno South. Justice Abang had on January 28 varied Maina's bail conditions following his inability to meet the bail terms granted him on November 26, 2019. Abang reduced Maina's bail condition from 1 billion naira to 500 million naira, with a surety in the like sum who must be a serving senator as opposed to the earlier order of producing 2 serving senators. The judge ruled that the surety, who should not have a criminal case pending in any court, must have a landed property fully developed in Maitama, Asokoro, Wuse 2, Katankwe, or Central Business District of Abuja, with certificate of occupancy attached as evidence. Abang also ruled that though the senator would always come to the court at every adjourned date, he is only required to sign a court register that would be opened at the registry, among other terms. However, Maina had been unable to get a senator as surety for his release until Ndume decided to do so. Justice Abang, who had on June 29 considered the arguments of parties, said it was within the court's jurisdiction to either grant bail by vacating the existing conditions or grant new conditions. Although Maina is charged with 12 counts bordering on money laundering, which he pleaded not guilty to, according to NANS.
Welcome back. Actually, we just dished you the double stories at the same time. The Melabo and the Minor. That was what the MCR dished you now. And like I said, I have distinguished legal practitioners in the studio, and we'll be looking at it from the angle also from the judicial aspect, whether the conditions being given to the bail conditions being given to people indicted with corruption by the judiciary is appropriate. Does it kind of correspond with the crime, the weight of the crimes they committed? And as such, wouldn't it be easier for people to go into crime, hit big money, and then find their ways out of the prison within a short period of time? A Esquire, I begin from you.
Yes, I do not see it that way, because bail conditions are not a yardstick
for the level of an offense committed by a suspect. Bail, in its real sense, simply means provision of a suspect to court. In fact, some of the Supreme Court submissions frowned at giving a very strenuous conditions for a suspect. Because the Constitution says that person is still a suspect and is presumed innocent until proven contrary. How would it be proven contrary? Fortunately, the government is represented by EFCC. And the EFCC produced good lawyers to represent the federal government. The suspect, equally, was represented, in fact, among his defense counsels, we have learned 6, which the Constitution provided for him. Ordinarily, because making a condition strenuous does not stop anybody who is faulty from continuing whatever he has done. But the beauty of the law and Constitution is bail must be granted because we want to be seeing that suspect in court every here and there. So bringing strenuous condition, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think is a yardstick. They could just say, in fact, by mere his own self-recognition, they can grant him bail.
Self-recognition?
Self-recognition.
On that kind of heinous crime?
No, that heinous crime, it is the people who are taking it that way. Okay. And until the court confirmed, it's just like this issue of Magu. Okay. When people like us are saying, no, not crucify that guy. Let's see the outcome of the panel. In fact, even that panel, they are just for investigation. Until Magu is established that he did this, he did that. And that is when anybody could crucify him. But for now, no. The law says no. He's still an innocent person.
All right, but are you aware, Mr. Gen, of the enormous responsibility of the Pension Reform Board? I think you are aware of it. Yes. They're responsible for the payment of pension and gratuity to ex-service personnel and even civil servants that have retired. Yes. And most of them, their funds, gratuity and pensions were actually embezzled under minor. Most of them died. Some could no longer be on drugs that they were in order to live, to sustain their health. Running into billions. 9 months only, and he met the bail condition of 500 naira fine. Could you fault the Constitution or the lay down legal technicalities in terms of bail conditions and recognition of the Nigerian judiciary that it could aid criminalities or further corrupt activities with reference to financial corruption?
Well, in this situation, I think the essence for bail is to be able to secure the attendance of the suspect to a court. So in this situation, I don't think somebody, maybe somebody who has an issue, or maybe he was accused in the magistrate court and who lives below the standard of minor, should be granted bail terms of that sum of money granted to a minor.
Which is just 500,000.
Yes. But in this situation, I think considering his standing in the living, his standard of living, I think it is right that that kind of bail should be given to him. I don't think the Constitution, there is no wrong in the Constitution with respect to the bail terms given to a minor.
You justify that because you assume he is still a suspect. Somebody that have gone to jail, is he still a suspect?
No, it is not a suspect.
Okay.
It's not a suspect.
Okay, he is not
He's
a
an
suspect.
accused.
He's an accused.
Yes.
And he has been sentenced, A. Mohammed.
Yes.
If somebody has been sentenced to jail, he has not been sentenced.
He has not been sentenced.
Okay.
The matter is still on. You know the procedure in court. When you get to court, yes, definitely, when you are arraigned, the charges will be read across to the person.
Okay.
The procedure is you take your plea. If you are guilty, tell the court. Then the court will help you by summary judgment. There and then, you could be convicted. But when you deny, as he did, when you deny the allegation, the court will say to Mr. Man, you have to go to correctional center, pending when, and the court can, on its own, suo motu, grant bail, without even the other counsel moving application.
Okay.
Now, in his own case, the matter is still on. The matter is still on. I wouldn't know the level of which the matter is now, but I know I think they've started hearing. They've been calling witnesses. And until witnesses are called, and is equally given a fair hearing that, Mr. Man, come and defend yourself. This is what we heard that people says you did. If he could not defend himself, that is the job of the overall wisdom man there, the judge. When the two sides have made their argument, the court will now say, okay, give me time. Let me look into your argument and the evidence before me. Let me see which one is factual.
Okay.
Then the judge, on his wisdom, because even this issue of bail condition that we are talking about, it has to do with the system of a judge.
The system of a judge.
Of a judge. But not all judges.
Not based on the system in the Constitution.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Not based on the system on the Constitution. The Constitution does not even give you a provision that simply because somebody is guilty, let's assume, because the position for somebody that is guilty, sentencing. But don't give him a condition that will be too strenuous for him to meet up. But perhaps the judge in his wisdom must have a reason to say, no, go and bring this, go and bring somebody with this, go and bring somebody with this, go and bring somebody with this. And I learned that they even went for what? No, that even that application or the submission of the court, I learned the lawyers went for something the lawyers call review.
Okay.
That they went to look whether the judge can review. So the outcome I do not know. Whether the court has reviewed that condition, and that was why they were able to present somebody.
Right. Now, on the other part, we saw Senator Ndume, the Senate Committee Chairman on Army from Borno South, being the shorty of Abdul Rashid Maina. Does that contravene his etiquette as a senator?
Sorry, please, before my learned friend could talk.
Oh, okay.
He does not contravene anything in the Constitution.
Okay.
Number one, Senator
Ndume
happens to come from Borno.
Yes.
That is his jurisdiction. And perhaps during the election, we wouldn't know whether men have voted for him as well.
Okay.
He's going there to represent the people of his geopolitical
Like
zone.
he said, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Who said so?
Ndume himself.
And don't read that to me, because it could be, we wouldn't know what he meant by that.
He said he represents the good people of Borno South, the good people, the bad people, and the ugly people.
I don't think that's what he meant.
That was what he meant, and he stated that if he was asked, although it took him 3 months to agree to the shorting minor from the prison, the Kuje prison. And then I because I am not a lawyer, but I have out of the law. So I now ask, does that contravene his etiquette as a serving senator.
That is when
A distinguished senator.
it doesn't, until the suspect now decided to disappoint him. How? Like it happens in this country.
Okay.
A senator stood for somebody and that person
Disappeared.
absconded. Until it happens that way. But for as long as he's representing a certain jurisdiction,
Yes.
he has the right. But that statement you said, honestly, I did that the bad and even the ugly.
The ugly.
No, I think it could be a mistake of maybe statement or something like that. Because I don't think he meant it.
All right.
Because many of the Boko Haram is equally,
he's representing them.
You understand that?
Exactly.
So there's an implication to that.
To that statement. So I think if the Dume, the Senate Committee Chairman on Army, is watching us, especially as regard the shorty of Abdul Rashid Maina, he could as well put up a good statement, a better statement than what he said. But however, could he be right from the angle of the people? He represents the people. Yes. So could he be right to say the people, we have the good, the bad, the ugly among the people? Could it be right from that angle? Because you lawyers and judges, you give, you say, on the charge of this count, he is acquitted. On the charge of this one, he can go in for it. So do you justify that?
Yes, in this situation, I think he's right to have said that. That is why he's a leader.
Okay.
Yes, and as a leader, you have to represent and then cover up. And that is why he's standing in for somebody who is from his place of origin.
All right.
So that is how I see it.
Okay. Anyway, thank you very much, Esquire and Gen Francis. Our audience, if you're watching us from any part of the world and you wish to make your contribution into the topic on discussion, immediately after this short break, we'll come to the third story. And when we come to this third story, we'll open the phone lines for you to give us your quota on the FG's fight against corruption. Please stay tuned.
Work committed to serving you the very best in online and offline television programming. Situated in the serene environment of Guzape, Abuja FCT, TVN, as it is fondly called, caters to a wide variety of audience via carefully orchestrated mind-blowing programs in the areas of fashion, business, politics, entertainment, religion, movies, food and health, culture and lifestyle, events around the globe, sports and foreign news. Whatever your inclination, we've got you completely covered with programs like Issues of the Moment, The Patriot, Daybreak Nigeria, Matter Africa, TVN Business Time, Healthy Living, From the Cradle, Stay Inspired, Entertainment Gist, Movie Hour, Hits Paradise, among others. All designed to keep you thoroughly informed, entertained, at the edge of your seats and yearning for more. A tour around our domain will reveal a highly dedicated staff force and a state-of-the-art facility and equipment for high-definition quality broadcast, making our station your #1 choice in advertising your business and propagating your ideas. We are currently on Nigecomsat doing our test transmission for takeoff in the nearest future. Television Nigerian is located in Nigeria at Television Nigerian House, Guzape Hilltop Mansion, beside Guzape White House, Guzape Abuja FCT, and in the United Kingdom at 45 and...
Welcome back. Still on the fight against corruption, we have this story that the Senate summoned some people involved, like Ahmed Fashola, AGF, that is the Accountant General of the Federation, over 2.7 trillion legacy project that was given to them over the years. And I want to look into that this legacy project, what does it entail? It entails some serious infrastructural and social project amenities that the country need gigantic ones that the country need for development. And it happens that the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway is one of them, the Kaduna-Kano Abuja Road is another one, and many other that you will find in this story. Take a background look at the reportage, then we go into the analysis. Please enjoy it. Senate summons Ahmed Fashola, Accountant General of the Federation, over 2.7 trillion FG's legacy road projects. The Senate on Tuesday summoned the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, over the funding status of 3 federal government legacy road projects estimated to cost 2.7 trillion. The Chairman Senate Committee on Finance, Senator Solomon Adeola, Lagos West, gave the directive during the panel's interactive session with the Managing Director of the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority, Mr. Uche Oji, in Abuja. Also to appear before the committee are the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, and the NSIA boss, Oji. The legacy projects are the Abuja-Kano Road, Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, and the second Niger Bridge. Oji told the lawmakers that the federal government established the Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund, PIDF, in February 2018 to accelerate the execution of certain critical strategic infrastructure projects essential to the rapid growth and modernization of the nation's economy. He said that the PIDF is being managed by the NSIA to develop the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, Second Niger Bridge Project, Abuja-Kaduna-Zaria-Kano Road, Mambila Hydro Power Project, and the East-West Road. According to him, the total cost of the project is estimated to be 2.7 trillion naira. He noted that the sources of funds for the project included federal government's initial seed funding of $650 million transferred to PIDF in 2018, 90 billion naira transferred by the Ministry of Finance to PIDF in 2019, and $311 million recovered funds transferred to PIDF in 2020. He said that NSIA is to provide $300 million, while China Exim to provide 1.423 billion naira, and the second seed funding of $650 million and other sources, local and international financial institutions, got funded $770 million into it. He said that the NSIA has so far expended the sum of 231.8 billion naira on the 3 projects as follows: Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, 60.9 billion naira, Second Niger Bridge, 100.6 billion naira, and the Abuja-Kano Road, 70.1 billion naira. He noted that currently the PIDF is being utilized in the construction of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, Second Niger Bridge Project, and the Abuja-Kano Road. He noted that the construction contracts were executed between the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing and the contractors before they were transferred to the PIDF. Therefore, all information and documentation relating to the projects prior the handover should be sought from the Federal Ministry of Work and Housing. He also said that the legacy debts of the 3 projects are the responsibility of the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing. However, the lawmakers disagreed with him and sought to know why he claims that the projects are being managed by the NSIA but yet refused to inherit the assets and liabilities of the projects. It was at this point that the chairman of the committee, Senator Adeola, directed that Ahmed, Fashola, and Idris be summoned to appear before the committee alongside Oji in 2 weeks' time to explain the status of funding for the project and the issue of legacy debt. Earlier on, Oji noted that the PIDF balance as of June 2020 stood at 181.4 billion naira. This balance incorporates the receipt of the recovered assets of $311 million, we estimate these funds to be depleted by the beginning of Q3 of 2021. Under the PIDF mandate, NSIA is to receive 2 transfers of $650 million. Thus far, NSIA received one of the transfers. Once the funding in third quarter of 2021 is expended, NSIA will either need the additional transfer or raise funding from another source, Oji said. Welcome back. Well, it seems that the federal government don't want to leave any stone unturned in the fight against corruption, as well as implementation of project that has always been the quagmire of our nation, Nigeria. Well, gentlemen, I will start briefly with you again to say that for the federal government, the Senate now to summon Idris, Ahmed, and Fashola over this contract called the Legacy Project of the federal government, the Legacy Project. The Legacy Project, of course, is for development, critical infrastructural implementation, like the Lagos-Ibadan Road Expressway, the Mambila Hydropower Project, the Kaduna-Abuja Kano Road, and you can see the second Niger Bridge. They have been awarded over time, and up to now, there has not been any speedy implementation to conclusion, to logical conclusion. Would you see it, this probe by the Senate, to be like that of the NDDC, or is going to be something that will ensure the implementation of these critical projects?
Yes, thank you for the question. I think it's a right step in the right direction by the federal government, most especially the legislature, to summon all these high personalities with respect to all this project. That is actually what we are lacking in this country, infrastructure, which you see reasons why so many of our youths graduate, and then we find it very difficult to get into certain employments. Like with respect to the projects, I think this has been given over time, and ever since now, they are finding it very difficult to at least be able to put something reasonable. So I think it's a right step in the right direction by the legislature to summon these people to be able to account for everything they have done, or which they have left undone up to this moment.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes.
Mr. Mohammed.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The critical project,
Okay.
has been a problem in the country.
Yes.
Implementation of critical project. You can see the amount involved, 2.7 trillion naira. We're not talking about billion anymore, trillion for this project. The importance of this project has been the reason for the award of this contract. How would you advise the Senate and the contractors, people handling this project, to put patriotism into this?
Thank you. In fact, that is the angle that I had wanted to go into.
Okay.
The Senate should not have invited these 3 people. They should have equally invited the contractors. Because I think I listened to it in one of the medias, wherein when the House of Representatives invited them, I think is either these 3 people or the contractors.
Yeah,
they insisted that they are going to round up. And the rounding up is about 9 months or 10 months to come. The question is, the Niger Bridge, how could you be able to finish it in 10 months? Anybody who goes to Lagos now will know, averagely they've tried within Ibadan to that Lagos, they've partially. I have not been to the axis of the Niger Delta.
Okay.
But for Abuja to Kano, it is worst. From Abuja to Kaduna, the movement usually goes for 1.5 hours. But now, if you are not careful, 3 hours. If you are going to Kano, immediately you get to Kano, you must get paracetamol. Because we are talking about 9 hours drive, which it has never happened before. I really appreciate this step they have taken, but they shouldn't restrict it to these three powerful people. Okay. They should as well invite the contractors. What is holding this thing? You know, Nigerian syndrome. Maybe this trillion we were hearing, perhaps they were not stretched over today.
Okay.
Because before you know it now, maybe one of them will equally come and begin to confiscate, to say no. And they begin to tell him, oh, stop there, hold on there. But if the contractors were invited, let them come and say it. Why is this thing taking the... Because the three men invited, they can easily say, look, we've awarded this contract.
Yes.
Look at the document.
Okay.
The execution is left for the contractors. They should have been invited equally.
All right, thank you. Why do you think that these projects, they are not the only projects awarded in the country and which have gone under the carpet, because we still have the Oweto Bridge? Though the federal government have started that bridge, there is work ongoing. It has taken years also, and a lot of projects abandoned, like the NDDC project. You see about 12,000, like this man said, the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Akpabio, that over 12,000 contracts and projects abandoned just in one region that have been sponsored by the FG, money paid, mobilized, contractors mobilized, yet they have been undone. Could it be, especially road infrastructure, could it be because no genuine effort in a kind of punitive measures against contractors that fails to do their job, or the persons in charge of such contracts, like those big names, like they say? Could that be the reason why some of those things were abandoned in the country, despite their importance?
Yes, to me, I see it this way, that the issue of bureaucracy in this country, where if money is being paid for or allotted for a particular project, it must follow series of bureaucracy bottlenecks. Money must pass through this person before they go to another person. I think that should be the reason why all these delays in carrying out project has been the issue. So I think that is the issue of bureaucracy bottlenecks. With respect to money allotted for all these projects. Now,
would you now say, okay, these are also private companies, given the contract?
Yes.
It's like it's not even like a private government partnership. These contracts were given out mostly. Some of them are handled by Chinese companies and contractors. I don't know, but then, what would you advise? Because the essence of this project, what would you advise? And also tell us more about the essence of this project, since they are not the only ones abandoned in this country. Though we couldn't say that they have been abandoned, but it is moving in a millipede space and speed.
I could say the essence is simply because of these three areas. Okay. You could see Abuja being the central.
Yes.
Abuja to Kano, which everybody believes is a commercial center.
Yes.
Also Lagos, a commercial center.
Yes.
These are the roads where you found vehicle moving every day and night, moving with goods. And the same thing with that Niger Bridge, which has been abandoned for a very long time. These roads are connecting the country. They are connected, so they are very important. And that is why whoever handles these three main projects should be monitored.
Okay.
And that's why I'm of the view that the contractors too should be invited.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. In 2 minutes, because we have just less than 3 minutes to call it a day from here, from this angle. The administration of President Muhammadu Buhari and the fight against corruption and the effort to ensure infrastructural development, do you see it going to be feasible between now and 2023?
Yes, I see it being feasible, because you can see the way the issue of the war against corruption is going with respect to the issues we have cited, the issue of Ibrahim Magu and all these
ones that are still going on.
So I think it is very feasible before the end of his tenure. Yes.
All right. You saw just now that about $200 million, the Malabo scandal, that story was actually aired before we began the pension, the minor, by the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, fought that to a standstill, where Switzerland and Netherlands to refund Nigeria, the FG, that money will enter the Nigerian treasury any moment from now. I think, is it a good effort on the side of the
federal government? Yes, yes. It's a very good effort. And do not be surprised, because this Malawi issue has been on for a very long time.
A very, very long time.
In fact, it can outlive the present government.
Are you sure?
Oh, come on.
With the effort of the AGF?
About 3-4 government on this Malawi issue. I don't see it ending now.
Okay.
I don't see it ending now.
It's all right. Thank you for coming, AJ Esquire and Gen Francis.
Yes.
Coming to Spectacle today was a wonderful one.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. This is where Spectacle will stop today on Television Nigerian. Do well to follow us on our social media platforms. And don't forget that Spectacle is also open to sponsorship, where we beat the reach of the media for you, taking your profile, antecedents, and whatever you want us to promote for you across the shores of this country, Nigeria. I have been Daniel Atai. Thanks for watching. Welcome to Spectacle on Television Nigeria. I am your host, Daniel Atai.